It happens faster than you can think. You're in a meeting, eyes on you, about to present an idea you know is solid. You're across from a woman you want, drink in your hand, trying to keep eye contact steady. You're alone at your desk, staring at a decision that could change your life. On paper, you're ready. You're not a boy anymore. You have skills, experience, intelligence. And then, your body betrays you. Your throat tightens. Your mind goes blank, like someone pulled the plug. A cold shot of adrenaline hits your gut. Not the rush of a warrior, but the jolt of prey that's just been seen. You freeze. You stall. Your eyes start scanning faces almost on their own, searching for a nod, a smile, a sign it's safe. You're not looking for information. You're looking for permission. In that split second, you're not 35. You're 7, wearing a man's body, terrified you've done something wrong. You tell yourself you're introverted. You tell yourself you're overthinking. You call it anxiety, shyness, being careful. But this isn't a personality type. It's a collapse, a structural failure in your psychology. And under that failure is a wound almost no one talks about. In the next few minutes, we're going to name it, dissect it, and show you why your confidence keeps cracking at the worst possible moments. And what has to change inside you so that the next time life puts you on the spot, you don't disappear. Look at your life. Not the big moments you post online, but the tiny ones you hide. You sit down to write an email. You know exactly what you want to say. You type a clear, direct sentence. Then something shifts. Your finger hovers over the keyboard. Your chest tightens. You reread the sentence 3 times, and you soften it. You add just. You add maybe. You add if that's okay with you. You tell yourself you're being polite. You tell yourself you're being professional. But you're not editing for clarity. You're editing for safety. There is someone in your head you're trying not to upset. Someone whose approval you still seek. Someone whose disappointment feels heavier than your own failure. This is the first symptom of the father wound, the phantom judge. When a boy grows up with a father who is explosive, absent, distant, or unpredictable, he learns one lesson very quickly. His instinct is dangerous. He learns to scan the room before he speaks. He learns to choke down impulses. He learns to anticipate anger, disappointment, or silence before it hits. If the father was a tyrant, the boy learns power is a threat. If the father was absent, the boy learns I'm not worth looking at. Fast forward 20 years. You pay your own bills. You make your own decisions. You move through the world as a grown man. But the scanning mechanism remains. You walk into a boardroom, a bar, a gym, and your body asks the question you never say out loud. Am I allowed to be here? Your shoulders fold in. Your voice drops half a volume. Your eyes avoid the most dominant man in the room. You tell yourself you're being humble. But humility is a choice made from strength. What you're doing is submission. You are submitting to an imaginary authority figure who still lives inside your nervous system. He's not trying to hurt you. He's trying to protect you. The same way a terrified boy once protected himself. Don't speak too boldly. Don't want too much. Don't shine too brightly. The phantom judge thinks he's keeping you safe, but he's also keeping you small. And as long as he sits on the throne of your mind, confidence is mathematically impossible. You cannot stand tall while a ghost tells you to shrink. But this judge is only the beginning. Because the wound doesn't just silence you, it sabotages you. There's a deeper mechanism at play, one that destroys your momentum just as fast as it appears. And once you see it clearly, you'll understand why your best progress always seems to fall apart at the exact moment you start rising. That's the collapse you must confront next. Here's the part most men never connect. Your confidence doesn't just collapse in high-pressure moments. It collapses after success, too. Think about your own life. Really think. You finally gain momentum at the gym. Then you stop going. You land a promotion. And suddenly, you procrastinate until everything falls apart. You meet a woman who genuinely likes you, and you pick a fight over something microscopic. You build a streak of discipline, and then you blow it all up in one night. Why do you do this? Why do you burn down things you worked so hard to build? Because the father wound has a second layer. The collapse mechanism. A wounded boy does not believe his power belongs to him. He believes power is loaned by an authority figure. He believes success only counts if someone above him nods. So when you succeed without that authority's blessing, your nervous system panics. It feels like theft. You feel like you took the keys to the car without asking permission, and any second now someone will show up to take them back. The tension becomes unbearable. So you crash the car first. You destroy the relationship first. You ruin the project first. You don't fail because you're incompetent. You fail because you're trying to escape the anxiety of getting away with it. This is what we call the validation leak. Your confidence is a bucket with a hole in the bottom. You pour in muscle, money, discipline, skill, but it drains out just as fast because the foundation is cracked. So you try to plug the hole with women. You try to plug it with bosses. You try to plug it with mentors, friends, authority figures. And you don't realize that in every room you walk into, you're silently asking the same questions. Do I count here? Am I enough for this space? Do you approve of me? Women feel this leak instantly. They can sense when a man's worth depends on their reaction, and nothing repels feminine energy faster than a man who looks at her as if she is his emotional oxygen tank. She pulls away. You panic, you cling. She pulls further, you collapse. And with men, the danger is even worse. Men who sense this leak in you will use it. They will make you loyal to them, obedient to them, dependent on their validation. You think you're being a good guy. You think you're being respectful. But in truth, you're a king kneeling at someone else's table, begging for scraps of approval. And the more you try to be enough, the faster everything crumbles, because you're trying to build a skyscraper on top of a sinkhole. But here's the deeper truth, the part most men never dare to face. You're not sabotaging your life because you hate yourself. You're sabotaging your life because you are still waiting for someone to tell you that you're allowed to succeed. But no one is coming. And until you face that, nothing changes. The next chapter will break the biggest illusion of all, the fantasy you don't even know you're living in, a fantasy that keeps you passive, paused, and waiting for a rescue that will never arrive. If I could open your chest and look inside your psyche, I would find a waiting room, not a metaphorical one. A real psychological posture you've been carrying for decades, a subtle sense of holding your breath, a sense of pausing your life, a sense of waiting for something or someone. You're waiting for the moment your real life begins, waiting for the fog to clear, waiting for certainty, direction, authority, waiting for a hand on your shoulder and a voice that finally says, "You're ready now. You can step forward. I give you permission to lead." Most men never say this out loud, but they live inside it. A fantasy of rescue, a fantasy of recognition, a fantasy of being chosen by someone with more weight, more strength, more legitimacy. You imagine a mentor, a father, a real man, walking into your life with that grounded presence. You imagine him telling you, "You've done well. You can stop fighting. I'm proud of you." And in that imagined moment, you believe the anxiety will dissolve, and you will finally feel legitimate. This is the great lie, a comforting lie, a beautiful lie, but still a lie. You need to hear this now, not intellectually, but somatically, in your nervous system. No one is coming. Not your father, not a mentor, not a boss, not a guru, not a leader who magically sees you. Even if your father is alive, even if you speak to him every week, he cannot go back in time and rebuild the internal structure you needed when you were 7 years old. That moment is gone. That window is closed. That wiring was set long before you became a man. And if you wait for a savior, you will die waiting. This truth feels brutal at first. It feels sharp, heavy, lonely. But if you breathe through that pain, if you don't flinch, don't collapse, don't click away, you will find something underneath it. Freedom. Because as long as you're waiting, you're passive. You're a child in a grown man's body, sitting on a bench, swinging your legs, hoping someone comes to pick you up. But the moment you accept that no one is coming, the waiting room collapses. You look around. You see something clearly for the first time. You're alone. And if you're alone, you're in charge. The realization that you are psychologically orphaned is not the beginning of despair. It is the beginning of sovereignty. It means no one stands above you anymore. No one's approval is required. No one's blessing is needed. No one's permission controls your movement. The throne inside you is empty, and that is not a tragedy. That is an invitation. But before you take that throne, you must see who has been sitting on it in your absence, because the mind never leaves that seat vacant. If the king is missing, a shadow sits there instead. And that shadow is ruling your life far more than you think. The next chapter reveals exactly who and what has been wearing your crown. When the father archetype collapses, it doesn't disappear. It mutates. It twists into distorted shapes, shadow versions of masculinity. And one of them takes the throne inside you the moment you fail to claim it yourself. Most men with the father wound are ruled by one of 3 shadows. You need to look in the mirror now and ask the only question that matters. Which one are you? 1. The Tyrant. This is the overcorrection. The boy who once felt powerless grows into a man determined never to feel that helpless again. If you are the tyrant, you build your identity on domination. You punish yourself in the gym, treating your body like a machine that must earn its right to exist. You enter conversations like a battlefield. Every point must be won. Every disagreement is war. You shut down your emotions because you fear what they'll expose. You fear softness. You fear being seen. On the outside, you look strong, disciplined, driven, unbreakable. But inside, you're exhausted because you're not leading. You're fighting yourself every hour, every day. Your aggression isn't power, it's armor. And beneath that armor, is the terrified boy, still trying to scare away the monsters he never learned to face. The tyrant is not a king. He's a hostage. 2. The weakling. This is the undercorrection. The boy who learned that having power leads to punishment makes a silent vow. I will never be dangerous. If you are the weakling, you know this pattern. You avoid conflict like fire. You let others choose the restaurant, the plan, the pace of your life. You smile when you're angry. You agree when you disagree. You apologize for existing. You tell yourself you're being kind. You tell yourself you're being a good man. But this isn't virtue. It's fear. Fear wearing a polite mask. You're harmless, not because you chose peace, but because you're terrified of your own strength. And the aggression you refuse to express doesn't disappear. It leaks out as resentment. It leaks out as bitterness. It leaks out in passive-aggressive jabs that make you feel even smaller than before. The weakling is not gentle. He's numb. 3. The ghost. This is the most common shadow among modern men. The ghost doesn't fight the father. He doesn't obey the father. He simply disappears. If you are the ghost, you know this feeling. You retreat into digital worlds, porn, gaming, endless scrolling. You drift through your days half present, half alive, half yourself. You avoid commitment to a woman, to a purpose, to a path, because deep down, you fear you don't have the spine to carry anything real. You call yourself laid back, chill, easygoing. But the truth is simpler. You're gone. You've abandoned your own life because living it feels too heavy. The ghost isn't peaceful. He's absent. The real danger. All 3 shadows, the tyrant, the weakling, the ghost, are intelligent survival strategies. They kept the boy safe in a world that didn't teach him how to be a man. But here's the twist most men never realize. None of these shadows are you. The tyrant is fear-wearing armor. The weakling is fear-wearing politeness. The ghost is fear-wearing fog. As long as one of these shadows sits on your throne, you will sabotage your growth, your relationships, and your future. So the question becomes, how do you kill the shadow and crown the man? That answer is not therapy, not comfort, not more motivation. It is initiation. And that begins in the next chapter. The cure for the father wound is not comfort. It's not motivation. It's not a quote, a book, or a podcast. The cure is initiation. In every ancient culture, a boy did not become a man by accident. He did not mature naturally. He was initiated, pulled out of the softness of childhood, and thrown into the furnace that forges identity. There was always a moment when the elders came for him. They took him away from his mother. They stripped away comfort. They gave him a trial that demanded fear, pain, endurance. The kind of ordeal that forces a boy to meet the part of himself he never knew existed. And when he survived, the men welcomed him with new eyes. You are one of us now. You carry your own authority. You are no longer a boy. Modern life has no furnace, no elders, no ritual doorway into sovereignty. So if you want to become a man, you must initiate yourself. You must become your own father. And it starts with one psychological shift. Internal permission. Every time your confidence collapses, you're unconsciously waiting for approval, waiting for someone to say, it's okay to speak. It's okay to want that. It's okay to act. It's okay to lead. But hear this clearly. The permission slip you're waiting for is never coming. So the next time your throat tightens, your stomach drops, or hesitation freezes you. You stop the moment internally and do the one thing the wounded boy never learned to do. You override it. You tell yourself, quietly, firmly, I authorize this. I authorize my voice. I authorize my desire. I authorize my mistakes. I authorize my movement. This is not affirmation. This is not positive thinking. This is self-governance. This is you becoming the father your younger self needed. Ask yourself, what does a good father do? When a son falls, a good father doesn't shame him. He picks him up. You're okay. Try again. When a son is afraid of the dark, a good father doesn't mock him. He hands him a torch. Let's go. Lead the way. This is the voice you cultivate inside. The dual nature of the awakened man. When the boy in you shakes, the man in you steps forward, not as the tyrant. Stop being weak, not as the weakling. It's okay. Avoid everything, not as the ghost. Disappear until it passes, but as the father. I see you're scared. That's okay. But I'm driving now. You can rest. We move anyway. Every time you speak, even when your voice trembles, you stitch the wound closed. Every time you set a boundary without apologizing, you pour concrete into the foundation. Every time you act without waiting for a blessing, you sit deeper on the throne. The collapse ends the moment you stop looking up for permission and start looking in for conviction. The throne has been empty your whole life because it's been waiting for you. If this felt personal, it's because it is. You weren't listening to a story about men in general. You were listening to a story about you, the collapse you hide, the shadow you follow, the throne you've never sat on. But hear this clearly. You're not broken. You're not behind. You're not weak. You're simply uninitiated. Your entire life until now has been the prelude, the wandering before the crossing. And now you know the truth. No man is coming to save you. No father is returning. No mentor can rebuild the boyhood you lost. The throne inside you has been empty, not because you were unworthy, but because it was waiting for the day you finally opened your eyes and saw what's been missing the whole time. You, not the boy, not the shadow, not the man performing strength he doesn't feel, but the one who steps forward when the fear rises in his chest and says, I'm here, I'm leading, we move. This is the beginning of sovereignty, not the roar, but the whisper, not the battle, but the breath. A new life opens when you stop outsourcing permission and start authorizing yourself. If this message hit somewhere deep, if you felt exposed, called out, or strangely relieved, good. That sensation in your sternum is not discomfort, it's initiation. Breathe once, let it land, and then act. Hit like. It tells the algorithm that men are choosing depth instead of distraction. And if you're ready to keep going, to master your internal state, to break the collapse, to stand as the father you never had, subscribe. Join the brotherhood of awakened men. You've learned the anatomy of collapse. Now learn the art of rising. Click the next video. The trait that makes you instantly respected. I'll meet you inside.